Hey guys, I'm Samaya and welcome to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about 5 animated TV shows. All these TV shows are like more towards young adults, so they're not for kids at all. Even though they're animated, just know that does not mean they're for children, okay? Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you want anything more from me, let me know down below what you would like to watch. I'm always open to talking about TV shows and movies. It's something I love very much. But yeah, let's get started. Alright, so like the first show I wanted to talk about was Disenchantment. So Disenchantment is made by the same creators as The Simpsons and Futurama, except that it's in this like medieval, like European weird kingdom world. And it's a show that basically, it starts off with like Queen Tiabini, so Princess Tiabini actually. So Princess Tiabini and her friends. There's Lucy, her personal demon, and then Elfo the elf. And basically they go on a bunch of adventures, a bunch of stuff happens. There's a lot of more characters that go into it and all of that, which is in later seasons, but like I don't really want to spoil that for you guys because I do recommend you watch it. It is a good show and it's pretty funny also. But a fact about the show that I didn't know until I started like researching is that all the humans have 5 fingers, but the like mystical creatures, they have like 4 fingers or 3. Like Elfo has 3 fingers. And, or is it Elfo? No, it's the stepmother. Yes, the stepmother. I don't know, bro, but she has 3 fingers because she's part lizard and like some type of like ocean creature. I don't know. I think it's eel. I'm not sure. But yeah, that is Disenchantment, and I really recommend this series, especially if you liked Futurama, because this series, it has to do with the past. Futurama is the future, obviously, and The Simpsons is modern day time. So if you enjoy any of those shows, I feel like you would really like Disenchantment. Yeah. The next show I wanted to talk about is Fiona and Cake. I know you're probably thinking, Fiona and Cake, you said that like these shows were gonna be adult shows, da 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 da. Technically, it is an adult show because it's rated 14. Yeah, rated TV 14. It has more like explicit language and there's like blood, which not even a lot, just literally like the tiniest bit of blood in the show. But it has more like gory things happening and more dark undertones and adult language, and just that's why it's more towards like older teenagers or people who just grew up watching Adventure Time. But yeah, I really enjoyed Cake and Fiona. It's kind of like, so it follows Fiona Campbell, and she's like this courageous. She's this courageous yet like really relatable like girl. She has her cat Cake, and Cake is like really sassy, and she's like this spunky little cute cat. She's literally the best. And the whole like point of the show is basically for them to, they're like chasing after this guy, I forgot his name, but he's like this mystical author, and they're chasing after him through different dimensions so they could save their universe. And there's a lot of like Adventure Time characters along the way that you'll see from different universes, as well as like the universe of Adventure Time and Ooh that like I grew up with. I don't know if you have, but like I definitely did. Like we see Simon Petrikov. I think I said that right, I'm not sure. But we see him and he's amazing. He has a lot to do with this story, and if you know anything about his story, his love of his life, Betty, has a lot to do with it, and she is talked about in the series. And they bring back a bunch of old characters like Prismo and the Cosmic Owl, and we get to see a lot of like human versions of Adventure Time characters, but in their own universe, which I really loved, and I enjoyed it so much. So if you were one that grew up like watching Adventure Time, I feel like you would really enjoy watching Fiona and Cake. Yeah, that's my say on that. Okay, so the next show I would like to talk about is actually one that I'm currently still watching. Pretty sure I'm on like season 10 or 11, but it is Bob's Burgers. So Bob's Burgers is a show about this family who own a restaurant called Bob's Burgers, and there's Linda, Bob, and their 3 kids, Tina, Jean, and Louise. Louise is my favorite character out of the bunch, and so is Linda, because I just love her little remarks, and like, she's the best. Excuse me with this pen, by the way, I just have to do something with my hands, like, I'm sorry, but I do. So when I was doing research for Bob's Burgers, which if you've ever watched it, you would know that it's like a wholesome family show that has like little adult themes to it. They do curse every now and then, but it's not anything that's like major, you know. But they always go on like these little adventures, and like the kids are always up to no good, especially Louise, and that's what I love about her. But when I was doing research for the show, I found out that the original pitch for Bob's Burgers was much darker. Like the creator, I believe her name was like Lauren Belcher. She pitched the show as a family of cannibals who own the restaurant Bob's Burgers, and like they just eat people and they make burgers out of their flesh, which it's supposed to give like Sweetie Todd vibes, sort of, at least from that's like what I read that she had stated, which sounds crazy to me, because like that is not Bob's Burgers. But they actually do bring in the first episode, I believe, there's the health inspector, Hugo, and he like puts up this sign and he's like, oh, there's human flesh or whatever like in the burgers. So that theme does come back around for an episode, but it's not what the entire show is about or was originally supposed to be about. Yeah, which I thought that was really great. If you like the whole like wholesome family dynamic thing, owning a restaurant, and you know, they always have like friends along the way, and there's Teddy and Mort, and there's Jimmy Jr., you know, there's a bunch of them, a bunch of characters, which actually I think tie the entire show together very well. So yeah, I really enjoy it. I think that you guys will as well. Let me know what you think of any of these shows I'm talking about down below, if you've watched them, if you haven't, if you're watching it because I recommended it to you, just let me know. So the next show I wanted to talk about was one that is definitely going to make you cry and feel all of the feels. Bojack Horseman. So Bojack Horseman is a show about this like, basically he was a successful like actor in the 90s, and it kind of went downhill from there for him because he has a lot of like alcohol abuse issues as well as drug abuse, and there's just, he's a very complex character, Bojack. He does some things that are unforgivable and that he cannot ever come back from. But the show isn't only about him. It does talk about a bunch of other fucking things, like Caroline, she's Bojack's manager, well, agent, then became manager. And her storyline is very sad, and like breaks my heart. But I'm so happy for her ending. Her ending was sweet, in my opinion. Then there's Diane, which I love Diane, and there's Peanut Butter, Mr. Peanut Butter, who he has, so him and Bojack have this like competition, but it's all one-sided. Only Bojack hates him and Mr. Peanut Butter thinks that they're best friends. Yeah, and I think that's hilarious. But Bojack also, the show altogether, not just the character Bojack, I feel like it successfully explores how like loneliness can be portrayed in many different ways, shapes, and forms. And I love how the show talks about a bunch of different topics, not only like alcohol abuse and mental health, but it goes into sexuality as well, and genders, and all of that. And I really love that about the show, especially there's no filler episodes. They're like, each episode is like, if this happened last episode, that's going to show up in the next episode, which I really enjoy. It reminds me a lot of like live action TV shows, how sometimes you're like, oh, this shit happened and now we're going back into that, you know? It's not a completely different thing. Like if the wall is broken in one scene in another episode, it's gonna be broken in the next scene, you know what I'm talking about? And that's something that I really enjoyed about the show. Yeah, so I would say give it a watch, but if you're struggling with, you know, mental health at the moment, then I wouldn't, because you're going to be bawling in the fetal position. You're gonna be sad and depressed while you're watching the show. I'm just gonna tell you that right now, okay? But it is a great show. Okay, so the next show that I wanted to talk about today is one that I particularly enjoy the most, only for the side story. I know that sounds weird, or like it sounds kind of bad, you know, but it's true, because I find it more interesting than the actual wholeness of the show. But I mean, you might not. So the show I'm talking about right now is Solar Opposites. Solar Opposites is a show about aliens that they come to Earth from their planet, but they think their planet's better than our planet, which probably is, if I'm being honest. But they're refugees from their planet. They came to Earth, and it's kind of like one-sided. Some of the aliens are like, I love this place, and then there's Corvo, and Corvo's like, ah, I fucking hate this place, I want to kill myself. Yeah. But the show also is definitely not for children, and I should state that because it does show like some adult scenes, and it does have some gore in there as well. Like the alien's blood is blue, and it has sexual scenes, if you know what I'm talking about. So I wouldn't watch this around children whatsoever, especially like the language that they speak in the show. It's just not, it would not be good for kids to hear. But if you have watched Rick and Morty, then I think you would like this show, because it is made by the same creators or the same writers as Rick and Morty, I believe. Which you can definitely see that within the show. And I'm pretty sure that one of the aliens is being voiced by a character that, being voiced by an actor who played a character on Rick and Morty. Yeah. But I wanted to tell you guys a bit more about the side story. So basically, one of the aliens, Yumulak, he makes a human farm, and whenever a human like pisses him off or annoys him in any way, he shrinks them down and puts them in this human farm, which is just a big ass terrarium that is hidden in his and his sister, not real sister, Jesse's room. It's Yumulak and Jesse, their room. He just puts them in there in that like terrarium, and it's like, fend for yourself. And every now and then he'll remember to feed them, but he doesn't really feed them or clean the terrarium or anything. So those people that he shrunk, they made their own little like fucking life down there, their own city, their own government and religion, and literally everything. And it is honestly amazing, and I love every second of it. Like, I find the side story so much more fascinating than the actual story, that I'm always excited to see an episode with those characters in there. Like, yeah, I just have to say that. I think it was done very well, and if they ever did a spin-off on just the wall, as they call it the wall, I would definitely watch that 100%. That is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video very much. I enjoyed making it. I enjoyed talking about these shows. I watch these shows on the regular. Like, I'm the type of person, see, I will put on like an animated show just to have noise in the back, and then when something's good, I'm like, oh shit, like I gotta listen in on this. What are they saying? Like, I'm that type of person. I really enjoy all animated shows, especially, I still watch, like, I'm currently rewatching Adventure Time, and I just finished watching Steven Universe and Steven Universe Future like last month, and I love it. I will probably do I haven't watched the movie of Steven Universe, but I will probably definitely actually do like a let's talk about it, because there's a lot I have to say. Yeah, but anyways, sorry, I'm just rambling at this point. I never get to really talk to you guys, so you know, like, why not just sit down and talk with you guys? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys whenever with another video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and all my social medias will be linked down below in the description if you want to stay tuned in what I do. I'm a filmmaker and soon to be actress, hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, I love you guys. Bye. Bye.